Demi Moore's latest film, The Substance, has been creating a stir worldwide. And it's no surprise. This movie dives into body horror, following a former A-list celebrity who tries a black market drug to get a more youthful version of herself, only to learn there are some truly horrific side effects.
It's a little bit like the picture of Dorian Gray meets Death Becomes Her with a Jane Fonda workout.
Talking about her experience filming, Demi said, "It was definitely something that was going to really push me out of my comfort zone." She explained that the film explores the violence we have against ourselves, showing just how much pressure we put on our looks and how damaging those pressures can be.
So it's dealing with aging
and
the kind of male perspective of the idealized woman that we as women have bought into.
Demi opened up about the value she used to place on her body in the past, how it felt like it defined her success and worth. Back in her indecent proposal days in the 90s, she was so determined to meet Hollywood's beauty standards that she'd bike about 30 miles each way to the set, all while caring for a 6-month-old baby.
Even just the idea of like what I did to my body, it's like so crazy, so ridiculous.
Looking back, she admitted it seems crazy now, but at the time, she felt it was what was expected.
I put so much pressure on myself, and I did have experiences of being told to lose weight, and all of those, while they may have been embarrassing and humiliating.
Now, she can't help but think, did it really matter that much? In a recent interview, Demi also shared how her perspective on aging has shifted. Some days she looks in the mirror and thinks, wow, that's pretty good. Other days, she catches herself obsessing over things she doesn't like.
The difference is now I can catch myself. I can go, yep, I don't like that loose skin, but you know, it is what it is.
Honestly, isn't that a journey so many women can relate to? And she has some wisdom to share. Demi recalls how a stranger once told her, "You'll never be enough, but you'll start to know your worth once you put down the measuring stick." At first, it sounds harsh, but Demi took it to mean that we can't keep measuring ourselves against impossible standards. And that's a lesson she's held on to.
The message I always looked at is that it's really about accepting yourself as you are and being an appreciation of all that you have.
Now, at 61, Demi Moore is truly living her best life. She told it today she's all about staying present, saying, "This is the most exciting time of my life."
First of all, I really try to be as present in the moment as possible. And what I feel from that is an excitement of possibilities.
She's determined to show that women her age are redefining what it means to grow older, and she's not letting age stop her from going after any role or career path she wants. Gotta love that kind of determination.
We are what the future is for women.
Plus, it's not just her career that brings her joy. Demi has 3 grown daughters, Rumour, Scout, and Tallulah, and she recently became a grandmother, or Ya, as her granddaughter calls her. She loves it. In fact, she can't get enough of those adorable grandma moments.
And now, my baby has a baby.
I mean, what is that like? What is that like?
It's so wild because there's a part of me that still feels like such a kid.
Demi Moore has found peace with what she can't control, the freedom that comes from a life well lived. She shared, "I'm sitting in a different place in my life than I've ever been."
My children are grown. I have the most independence and autonomy to really redefine where I want to go. I don't know what that looks like or where it is, but I'm just excited to be living in it.
Isn't that what we all want? Just to enjoy the ride? As for her personal life, Demi is embracing being single and putting herself first. She's been through a lot, and her story is all about resilience, healing, and finding self-love after all the hurdles life threw her way. Little Demi's early years were plagued by illnesses, hardships, and tragedy. She had to battle a life-threatening kidney condition. In her memoir, Inside Out, Moore recalls how she had to use her fingers to extract pills out of her mother's mouth, saving her life.
You said your childhood
Was done. Yeah, life-changing moment.
As a cruel thanks, her alcoholic, often irresponsible, suicidal mother sold her out at the age of 15 for $500, allowing a man to rape her. For a while, Moore worked as a model for a photographer who specialized in nude photos. She was still underage at the time. At the age of 18, the aspiring actress lost the man who she considered as a father figure. To distract herself from grief, she married musician Freddie Moore and took his surname as her stage name. The marriage lasted for 5 years, but was ruined when Demi confessed to having been unfaithful to Freddie. Demi Moore was young, overwhelmingly beautiful, and saw her purpose in being useful to others, hence to choosing sexualized roles. By the time she was 21, Moore developed bad alcohol and drug addictions. The vices were so bad that she was cast in St. Elmo's Fire on the condition that she would enter a rehab. If I'd had to give up the movie and go through the program to get sober for myself, I doubt I would have done it, Moore admits. I just didn't value myself enough for that. But with the film at stake, I had something much bigger than me to fight for. And so I did. Her life became brighter when she met Bruce Willis.
We had some great times together. I mean, we shared a lot. I had 3 beautiful, amazing children.
True, Moore and Willis once ruled Hollywood as a power couple. As Moore detailed in her memoir, Inside Out, they grew close, sharing their stories of difficult childhood. Both got into acting to get over their respective issues and traumas. But with time, the couple realized that they had different goals in life. Willis didn't like the fact that Moore was a working mom and wife. Moore was at the height of her career. Her husband's displeasure overlapped with criticism for Moore pursuing higher pay. She earned $12.5 million for starring in the 1996 film Striptease, becoming historically the highest-paid actress in the world. She was given the ironic nickname Demi Moore for her high demands. Later, Moore started suspecting that Willis cheated on her. On his part, Willis expressed his doubts about wanting to stay married. The tensions resulted in divorce in 2000, ending a 13-year marriage. At first, it looked like Willis feared that Moore would make their split difficult, explode in anger, and obstruct his access to their kids. She didn't. All in all, the world wasn't ready for the civilized and amicable way the former couple separated. Here's the trick, according to Demi Moore. To be clear that our children were our priority, and that whatever we had was not theirs, and find a way to share and be a family in a different form. Thanks to this, the 3 elder Willis girls grew up without having to choose their side in their parents' split, unlike their mother. I'm the product of divorced parents, and my brother and I were the pawns in my parents' game, Moore said in an interview with Harper's Bazaar. I never wanted that for my kids.
I think that we did a magnificent job of making sure that our children knew they were loved.
In 2003, 3 years after her split from Willis, Moore met actor Ashton Kutcher. Despite the significant 15-year difference in age, the two hit it off right away. For the first time in a long while, Moore felt her heart flutter out of love. When I met Ashton, it almost felt like a do-over, like I could just go back in time and experience what it was like to be young with him, much more so than I'd ever been able to experience it when I was actually in my 20s, Moore recalls.
If you go to our house, I have Post-it notes that are placed in various locations, all with messages of encouragement or love or just thought. Yeah.
Post-it notes are much cheaper than diamond rings.
Her romance with Kutcher started out so well. How was she supposed to know that this relationship would end in a total disaster? The couple were overjoyed to find out that Moore got pregnant. 6 weeks later, Ashton proposed to her at the beach. At first, Moore didn't like the idea that he could be proposing just because of the pregnancy. But I loved him, and I knew he loved me, and I knew this baby would cement our family, bond us all on the deepest level. By the end of the night, I'd said yes. 6 months into Moore's pregnancy, the star couple were about to start sharing the news, only to find out during a routine ultrasound checkup that they lost their baby girl, Chaplin Ray. The pair seemed to overcome the loss and wed in 2005. In her memoir, Moore admitted that she was desperate to have a baby with Ashton. My ego was attached to having a biological child I carried. Intellectually, I knew that one can connect with a baby on the deepest level without carrying her. But emotionally, I wanted to have that experience with Ashton. Supportive at first, Kutcher eventually gave up on the idea. When Moore confronted him, why did he let her go through this prolonged process and make herself vulnerable? He said he didn't think she'd actually go through it. Moore said she felt, quote, lost, empty, desperate, and confused following the pregnancy drama. Her drinking worsened. She started abusing prescription drugs. Life was already miserable for the actress. So when Ashton cheated on her, she knew their fairy tale would never have a happy ending.
And I have to say this, Demi was here a couple of months ago, right before the rumors hit the tabloids, and the staff noted how incredibly thin and frail she looked. And people will tell you, if your husband is accused of sleeping with someone half your age, it has to take a toll on you.
Years after their divorce, Demi revealed multiple eyebrow-raising details about her marriage to Ashton. For instance, she claims that with his remarks, Kutcher was encouraging her alcoholism. By agreeing to have a drink or two, she wanted to show that she is fun to be around. However, when she went too far and passed out in a hot tub, Kutcher got angry. He let me know how he felt by showing a picture he'd taken of me resting my head on the toilet the night before. It seemed like a good-natured joke at the time, but it was really just shaming, the actress wrote in her memoir. Next, when Kutcher expressed his fantasy of bringing a third person into their bed, Moore didn't say no. She was willing to do anything to make her third marriage work. The actress doesn't regret the experience, but has come to the conclusion that inviting a third party to the equation can be harmful to a monogamous relationship. Furthermore, reflecting on her failed relationship, Moore feels that Kutcher cheated on her because he was looking for ways to get out of their marriage. Moore says she knows of 2 instances when Ashton wasn't faithful to her. She was walking the red carpet when she learned about the second time. That afternoon, she could only pray that this information hadn't gotten out yet and the journalists wouldn't ask her about it. 2012 was a year of horror for Demi Moore. The man who she thought was the love of her life had left her. Her alcohol and drug addictions worsened. Her daughters and ex-husband/best friend Bruce Willis grew distant. I had no career, no relationship. At the age of 50, she suffered a seizure due to having a bad reaction to a drug and had to be hospitalized.
The Los Angeles Fire Department tells Showbiz Tonight that they did respond to a call from Demi's address that was at 10:41 last night, and they took her to the hospital about 30 minutes later.
After all, Moore did reveal at the Ellen DeGeneres show that she's maintaining her single status by choice and isn't exactly an avid user of dating apps. Instead, the actress implied she's busy taking care of her small army of cutest dogs in the world.
Yeah, look at my crew. Oh, you probably had more and some fell off that balcony.
We can only hope that Demi finds happiness and stability again. Does it matter whether she chooses to remain single or allows someone into her life once more? So what do you think the future holds for the gorgeous and strong-willed actress?